Our next guest has developed corporate strategy insight from over 40 hours of interviews with executives. They represent 31 companies with $1.9 trillion in market cap and $902 billion in revenue. Steve McMahon, co-founder and CEO of Purple Strategies, joins us now. So you're advising a lot of powerful companies, Steve. What are you telling them on this election day about what outcome you expect?
Well, what we're telling them is, the data that's coming in, the polling that's coming in all around the country, the national polls, the state polls, there are so many more of them this year than there were 4 years ago. And they're telling a remarkably consistent story, which is that Joe Biden has a lead. He's had a lead for quite a long time. It's substantial. And even in states that are tightening up a little bit, it looks like Joe Biden, I think, is cruising to probably what I would expect to be a victory tonight. But I thought 4 years ago that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So you have to take all of this with a grain of salt. But there is a lot more data out there this time than there was 4 years ago.
And what is their number one concern or question to you as it relates to strategy in a change in administration and potentially change in Congress makeup as well? Well,
one of the things that companies today are having to deal with more than ever is kind of societal expectations. It used to be that you could kind of run your business however you wanted to run your business, and people would, make judgments about whether or not they wanted to buy your products. Now society is kind of expecting things from companies. And as a result, politicians are demanding things from companies because, after all, society is the voters that put politicians there. So, I think from our perspective, the companies that we're dealing with, obviously there are economic issues, the tax rates and some of those kinds of things that are obvious. But less obvious and beneath the surface is more about what do folks in society expect from us? What do our employees expect from us? And how do we understand the constituencies that we need to deal with every day that are important to our business success? And we help them understand those. Our background, for the most part, is political. And one of the things that we do in politics is we understand constituencies and what's important to them, where they start a conversation, what they find credible and believable, what they need to hear. And we do that now for companies every single day.
Steve, I think it's fascinating. We've gone through a period this year where companies took a broader stance on things like racial justice and inequality and maybe some climate issues. And I wonder if you think that horse is out of the barn, or do we eventually get back to a point where companies try to be a little more apolitical and maintain both of their so-called camps in this highly polarized country?
It's a great question. One of the things that polarization has brought is paralysis in Congress and in Washington, and to some degree, even in state legislatures. And so people are now looking to CEOs as political leaders, as the equivalent of like a governor. And so you're seeing now CEOs taking positions on things that they would have avoided before, whether it's Black Lives Matter, climate change. You saw Walmart, which is in every rural community in the country, took guns and ammunitions off the shelf this week. So companies are now being asked or forced or pressured to do things that they wouldn't have had to think about 4 years ago or 8 years ago. And I think as you look forward, you're going to see more and more of that, not less, because society has expectations. The younger generation is not going to wait for politicians to deal with climate change, as an example. They're going to expect companies to take stands. And that's why you're seeing big energy companies saying they're going to be net zero by 2050.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.